Before that, yesterday we have discussed about importance of master outer join, as we need to get all the data from one of the sources which we have made it as a detailed source in the joiner transformation. So to get all the data from the detailed source and the matching records from the master source, you have to make it as master outer join. Then we discussed about lookup. When you want to look into something, you look up into that table or a flat file. So you have a salaries file. From that you want a salary out of it for each employee. So we used a lookup transformation. Looks into that salary file to get the related values based on a condition. If the condition fails, it will return a null value. If the condition successful, corresponding gets the related value. This is how a lookup transformation works in Informatica. So today's agenda will be aggregator transformation. So before I go further down, do you have any questions on the lookup transformation? No questions? So now this is a mapping which I want to extract data from SRC sales table and load the data into TGT sales table. So you have SRC sales table and TGT sales table. Okay, I'll get back to you, Sita. You need to extract data from SRC sales table and load the data into TGT sales table. The requirement is you need to find sum of quantity and sum of quantity into price based on item description, month, year, and state. That is a business requirement. So you extract the data from SRC table and load the data into TGT sales table. So what is the data in your SRC sales table? You have item description, month, year, state, quantity, price. You have item description, month, year, state, quantity, price. This is the table. You are going to extract the data from this table. And when you want to load data into the target table, from a SQL perspective, you are not using Informatica here. From a SQL perspective, we are extracting this data. Let's say you have written a query to calculate sum of quantity and sum of quantity into price. So I want item description, month, year, state, sum of quantity into price. When you aggregate the data, aggregation means sum, average, min, max. These are called aggregation functions. So whenever you want to aggregate the data in SQL, you write a group by clause. Item description, month, year, and state. So I want to select item description, month, year, state, sum of quantity into price from this table. Group by on item description, month, year, and state. That is my business requirement from this table. How to calculate sum of quantity into price and sum of quantity in Informatica, we'll do it. But this is a table in your source. Let me show you the data in the source database also. Select the star from SRC sales. So I want to calculate sum of quantity into price based on item description, month, year, and state. So I have written this query to execute it. My question for all of you is, how many records will the query return? When I use this query in my Toad or Oracle on a database, on a table, if I write this query, how many records will the query return? Look at the data and let me know. Send me in the chat how many records will it return. It is nothing to do with Oracle. It has nothing to do with SQL Server. On any database, in a table, when you fire this query, how will you write this? How many records? Venkat, Yasim, 3. Let us see. How does group by works? This group by is item description, month, year, and state. So in this records, it will group it on same record of item description, month, year, and state. So what it is? Shirt January 2005 AP 10. Shirt January 2005 AP. Shirt January 2005 AP. Shirt January 2005 AP. So identical records based on this condition. So item description, shirt January 2005 AP, shirt January 2005 AP, shirt January 2005 AP. Then it will do sum of quantity, 10 plus 20, 10 plus 20, 30, 30 plus 20, 50, 50 plus 10, 60. Then sum of quantity into price, 10 into 1000, 10,000, 20 into 20, 2000, 20,000, 40,000, 10 plus 40, 50, 20 into 1000, 20,000, 50 plus 20, 70, 10 into 10, 10 into 1000, 10,000, 70 plus 10, 80,000. So it will do sum of quantity, shirt, January 2005 AP, sum of quantity and sum of quantity into price. This is how aggregation works. Same identical records it will group in a data set, in a set of data. Next, PANT January 2005 AP, PANT AP Tamil Nadu, PANT January 2005 AP Tamil Nadu, PANT January 2005 AP Tamil Nadu. So 30 plus 20, 60, 50 plus 10, 60. That is sum of quantity. 30 into 1000, 30,000, 20 into 1000, 20,000, 50,000, plus 10 into 1000, 60,000, 10,000 is equal to 60,000. Then, shirt February 2005 AP, only one type of record, so 20 and 20,000. Then pant January 2005 AP, only one record, so sum of quantity is 20 and price is 20 into 1000. So this is the importance of group by clause. Identical records, what you put in the group, that identical records it will. That's why when you write a select statement, it says whatever columns you write in the select statement, it should be there in this group by clause, if you have observed in your select statements. Because the output will be based on the group by clause and those columns. That's why you need that output. So it will return 4 records. Let us check it up in the database. So it returns 4 records. So what it did, it does group by clause. Based on the group by ports, it will find the identical records and aggregate it. Same way in Informatica, if you want to aggregate the data, Informatica provides you with a transformation called aggregated transformation. The purpose of this aggregated transformation is to do the aggregate function. where it will do is input port, output port, variable port, and it will do only aggregate functions. Variable port can be used for aggregate functions, you can use it, and a group by clause. Whenever you do aggregation, it needs group by. Based on some fields, you have to group the records, then you have to calculate the aggregate functions. For that, Informatica provides you with a transformation called aggregated transformation. And aggregation is done on a data set, complete data set. Like what I have discussed here, it will aggregate it. To aggregate the data of shared January 2005, it needs the complete. In that, it will find the same combination of records. So aggregator, when it aggregates based on the group by ports, it needs to do the aggregation. So for that purpose, in Informatica, we use a group by port. So to do that aggregation, you use output ports or variable ports to do sum and count, first, last, mix, max, median, mean, percentile, standard deviation, sum, variance. These are all aggregate functions in Informatica. So whenever you want to aggregate the data based on some columns, then you use aggregated transformation. And whenever it does the aggregation, it needs the complete data set. It needs the complete data set. So first step, I will create the source from the source database. SRC sales is my source table. Target, import from database. TGT sales. Then mapping number 10. We are using aggregate transformation, so TG, I put AGG. Then I bring my source, SRC sales. Then I bring my target, TGT sales. Transformation, create, expression. Yasim, I will definitely let you know the best practices and all that stuff. I will let you know maybe tomorrow or someday. Definitely before the course is completed, that is definite. So aggregator transformation, syntax for aggregator is AGG. That is, syntax for aggregator is AGG. Please write it down and give a meaningful name. Now you aggregate it to find the sum of quantity and sum of quantity into price. Till here, whatever we do every day, define the source, define the target, created a mapping, drag the source, drag the target, best practice expression transformation. Now we use aggregated transformation. Ports. It contains input port, output port, variable port, group by port. The purpose of the group by is which identical records on which you want to group by. So in our case, it was item description, month, year, state. So you are aggregating on item description, month, year, and state. Then what is the aggregation you are going to do? Let us, like total salary, we'll create total quantity. Be careful, it is decimal. Make it as output port only. Like salary into commission, which we have written, like salary plus commission. Here sum of quantity. This is aggregate function. Then total revenue, sum of quantity into price. So I created this. So item description, month, year, state. total quantity, total revenue. So how did I do? I create an aggregator transformation, group by an item description, month, year, and state, and we calculated total quantity and the total revenue. So please open your sheets and write this down for your source and the target definition. And let's created the session. Please write it down this. Your mapping, TGT sales, 10th mapping. So if I execute this, what will happen? Mapping, edit. I'll go and create a session for this. Mapping, source connection, target connection, change bulk to normal, and create a workflow. Now, when I execute it, what will happen is our discussion point now. So you have a source, best practice expression, aggregated, TGT sales is your this thing. So item description, month, year, and state is your group by clause. You created this mapping. When you execute it, you extract the data from the source. Informatica here does a row by row process. Informatica does row by row process. So whenever you use an aggregator transformation, it is for, we will use aggregate functions based on some group by ports. We aggregate the data. But whenever you need to aggregate data, you need the complete data set of your source. Because when you aggregate, it is based on identical records, like item description, month, year, and state. Same records you need to group it. So you cannot do it on one record at a time. But in Informatica, does the row by row process, extraction, transformation. Extraction will be done complete data set, but it will do row by row process. But whenever you want to aggregate it, you need the complete data set, because let's say first record is having item description, shirt, January 2005 AP, quantity sold 10, price this. So last record of the data set also will be of the same combination. So these, based on these two, the output would have been sum of quantity means both should be considered. Sum of quantity 10, 30, 10 plus 40, 50,000 will be your output of this sum of quantity into price. First record and last record may be the same combination records in that a complete given data set. But Informatica does row by row process. But how to get that complete data set? Aggregator is allocated a cache. Aggregator transformation has a cache like your lookup, like your joiner transformation. It also needs cache, a memory space, so that it can put the complete data into the cache. It can put the complete data into the cache of aggregated transformation. So they allocate a memory space at runtime to this aggregated transformation. So it has a cache directory, cache size, and index cache size. Index is created on the group by ports which you select. Based on that, it will create the index at runtime. So Informatica does row by row process. First record comes in, goes out of the source qualified transformation, goes out of the expression transformation, goes to the aggregator cache. So it will put in the aggregator cache the first record. Second record comes in, puts it in the aggregator cache. Like this, Informatica does row by row process. So whenever you have aggregated transformation, it is a bottleneck in Informatica mapping because it stops the process. Till all the data, 1 million records are there or 10 million records are there from your source, all will be put into the aggregator cache. Row by row Informatica does process, so it will put the data into the cache. So aggregator puts the data into the cache. So the cycle is comes out of the source qualified transformation, comes out of expression, goes to the aggregator, puts it in the cache, goes back. Puts it in the cache, goes back. Puts it in the cache, goes back. Intermediate, whatever process has to be done, it will do. When it comes to aggregator, it will put complete data into the cache first. Then, what does Informatica do? Now, internal to the Informatica aggregator transformation is, what it will do is, it will take, based on your group by ports, here item description, month, year, and state. Based on that, it will scan the cache. After the data comes into the cache, it will scan the cache. Based on your group by ports. So what it will do, it will go to the first record and marks it. Shared January 2005 AP. Based on its group by ports. Next record it will check, same combination, marks it. Next record, pant is not the same. I'm talking about the third record, not the same. So it will skip the record. Then fourth record, shared January 2005 AP is the same, so it will mark it. Then fifth record, not the same, skips it. Fifth record, not the same. Sixth record, shared February, not the same combination, skips it. Then pan January, not the same, skips it. Then shared January 2005 AP, same combination, marks it. Then checks for the next record, not the same combination. So after scanning of this cache is done, then it will calculate sum of quantity now. 10 plus 20, 30, 30 plus 26, 50, 50 plus 10, 60. And it will do the sum of quantity into price of your total revenue and sends it out to the target table. So you have shared January 2005 AP, 60 is the sum of quantity and revenue is 80,000, so it will insert it. Then goes to the aggregator transformation. From the top, it will again scan for next unmarked record. First is marked, skips. Second is marked, skips. Third is unmarked, so it will mark it. And January 2005 Tamil Nadu. Then goes to the next record. This is already marked, so it will skip it. Goes to the next unmarked record, pan January 2005 Tamil Nadu, yes. Then goes to the next record, shared February, not the same combination, skips it. Next goes to the next record, pan January 2005 Tamil Nadu, same combination. Next goes to the next record, not the same combination. Sorry, it is already marked, so it will not look at it. Then it goes to the last record. It is not the same combination. It is pan January 2005 AP. So now it will group these records and send it across to the target table. Then again comes back, scans the cache. From the top, again it will scan the cache from the top, which are first unmarked record it will find. Now this next unmarked record is shared February 2005 AP, so it will mark it. Goes to the next unmarked record, that is pan January 2005 AP. It is unmarked, but it is not the same combination. So shared January 2005 AP 20 and 20,000 will be inserted into the target table. Next goes to the aggregated transformation cache. From the top again it will scan. Every time it will scan the whole cache. Every time it will scan the whole cache. That is where is the bottleneck. Every time it will scan the whole cache. It is the bottleneck. If you have 10 million records and 10,000 combinations, for each combination, it will go and scan the cache. It will go and scan the cache. So last record unmarked is PAN January 2005 AP. Now it will mark it, and that is the last record, so it will send it to the target table. This is how aggregated transformation works. This is how aggregated transformation works. So aggregated transformation needs a cache. As Informatica does row by row process, each record will put into the aggregator cache. Then based on a group by ports, it will mark them. First unmarked record, it will mark. From the top, scans the cache. Wherever it finds the same combination record, it will go on marking it. And after the end of the scanning of the cache, then it will do sum of quantity and sum of quantity into price and sends it across out of the target array. Then it comes back, goes to the first unmarked record in the cache, marks it, then same combination of records it will see, scans the cache. This is how Informatica works in the aggregated transformation. The issue is it takes longer time to scan the cache because for every combination of record, it will scan the cache. That is where is the bottleneck in the aggregated transformation in Informatica. But this is how internal process of Informatica works. Clear, everybody? Yeah, tell me.
Hey, Vijay. Yeah. So, can we sort the records and then aggregate?
That will be the next example.
Okay. Okay.
I will be talking
The
about
other
performance
question. Okay.
performance.
The other question that I have is there a way you can see the row counts in the mapping? Like, for example, if you see the mapping, right? Can you see in ab initio you can see the number of records that is processed by each of the components in the mapping?
Yeah, I saw in ab initio. No, you cannot see it here.
Okay.
It will not show. It will not show. Yeah, I saw in ab initio and in SSIS also it will show, I think. But here it won't show.
Yeah, that will be a little easy, so you know how many records processed, how many records dropped out, like that.
But here it is not there provision. But still I try to find out if it is there or not.
Okay, thanks.
Sita Rupali, is it clear for you how a aggregator cache works? So it needs a memory space at runtime. It will allocate a memory space. Index will be created on the cache. Index will be created on the cache based on the group by ports. What are your group by ports? Based on that, it will do the scanning of the cache. The most bottleneck in the aggregated transformation is, please understand this, I'll tell you the performance training of this also. The biggest bottleneck in the aggregated transformation is it will put all the data into the cache. As Informatica does row by row process, so it will put all the data into the cache. Now aggregated transformation internally what it will do, based on the group by ports, it will mark the records in the cache. But to get the identical records, same records, identical records, it will scan the cache. It will scan the whole cache for every combination. For every combination, it will scan the cache. For every combination. So imagine there are 1 lakh records in your cache. And you are doing grouping on item description, month and year, and state. So, like in our example, what was the output of this? In the example, there were 9 records, but output was 4 records. Means 4 combinations were there, 4 set of data, 4 combinations, 4 set of combinations were there. So in a 1 lakh records, imagine there are 10,000, output will be 10,000 records. Output will be 10,000 records because 10,000 combination sets it has. But if you look at scanning of the cache, it is going to scan the cache, whole cache, for every combination. That is, for every record, every combination of 10,000 records, it will scan 1 lakh records for every combination. That is, it scans the cache. It is marked. If it is marked, it is skipped. But still, it will scan the whole cache 10,000 times. That will become a longer time to do the process of aggregated transformation. So what does Informatica suggest? Have you understood the challenge, please? Have you got that challenge, please? Now, how to overcome this? Before that, let me execute this mapping. Start workflow. It should load the data into my target table. TGT sales. How many records it should load? It should load 4 records into my target table. So this is my target table. It has loaded 4 records. Now I will do the performance tuning of this. Before that, let me delete the data. So same mapping we will take and load the data into it. Now observe it. Where is the challenge we have? We are facing the challenge in the identify the challenge. When you identify the challenge, half the battle is won. So scanning of cache is the challenge. It is scanning the whole cache. Now, to reduce performance tuning is reduce the time to scan the cache for each combination of records. So reduce the time of scanning the cache. So if the data in the cache is like this, order by based on the group by ports. If the data in the cache, if the data is in the cache, order by based on the group by ports. So what Informatica does, if you have the data in the cache in a order by based on the group by ports, that will improve the performance. But to get the data into the cache in a order by fashion, if you can get the data into the cache in an order by fashion, how can it reduce the time? If you have data in the cache in order by fashion, if you observe it, how does Informatica scan the cache? Based on the group by ports. Takes the first record, sees the combination, goes to the next record, 5th January 2005, Tamil Nadu. Not the same combination. The advantage of you doing a order by is, one after another, same combination records will exist. The advantage of doing order by is, same combination record exists. Let's say select start from this table. I'll give an example. Select star from SRC underscore sales, order by pant. Sorry, order by item description. So records will be ordered based on item description. Or if you say order by based on item description, month, year, state. So it will do order by. One after another, same combination record will be there. If you do order by, So if there is a change in the combination between this record and this record, it is, if you do order by, it is guaranteed that this combination record will not exist down. This combination record will not exist in the cache down. So now if you do order by, if you have data in the cache in order by fashion, so what does Informatica do is it will mark the record. Informatica aggregator cache will mark the record PAN January 2005 AP. When it sees, checks for the next record, is it the same combination? If there is no, if it is not the same combination, it will stop the scanning of cache for this combination. It will stop the scanning of cache for this combination. Previously, what it was doing, it was going till the end of the cache. But we are, if there is a change in the combination, that means that that combination record does not exist. So it will send it out, AP20. Then goes to the next unmarked record, scans the cache, same combination, PAN January 2005 Tamil Nadu, PAN January 2005 Tamil Nadu, PAN January 2005 Tamil Nadu. Next, shirt. So there is a change in the combination. We have to make it sorted. Venkat. How to make it sorted before it goes into the aggregator, that we will do. So it will sort the data. When there is a change in the combination, it knows that this combination does not exist down. So it will stop the scanning of cache for this combination of records and does sum of quantity and sum of quantity into price. Then goes back to the cache, marks the next unmarked record from the top, then checks the next record, shirt February 2005 AP, shirt January. So there is a change in the combination, so it will stop the scanning of cache, goes out. Then goes to the next unmarked record, marks it, checks, same combination. Same combination, same combination. Then it will give you the same result outside, but your scanning will be reduced whenever there is a combination changes. If you can do this, you can reduce your time of scanning the cache. That is the time of your performance tuning of your mapping. So how to do this? Have you understood how to do it? I'll tell you. Have you got this? That if you can get the data in an order by based on the group by ports, you can reduce the scanning of the cache. You can reduce the scanning of the cache. But how to do it? We will do it now in Informatica. Have you understood the concept, please? So, before you get the data into the aggregator transformation, you have to ensure, please understand my English very carefully. If you want to do this performance tuning, one thing we are sure, if the data in the cache is in order by based on the group by ports, if you can get the data into order by based on the group by ports, then we can reduce the cache, scanning of cache. So how to get the data into the aggregator transformation? Aggregator transformation will not do order by please. We have to ensure that the data should go into aggregator transformation, that is into the aggregator cache in a order by based on group by ports. We have to ensure it. To ensure that Informatica provides you with a transformation called sorted transformation. The purpose of this sorted transformation is to do sorting of data. If when your source is a flat file, or you want to sort the data before an aggregator transformation, you use sorted transformation. Sorter has input port, output port, directly data comes in and data goes out. Sorting means order by. You can do order by based on ascending or descending on multiple columns. So to do order by on multiple columns, on which column you want to do, that is represented by this key port, and in which direction you want to do it, ascending or descending, you can set it up in this sorter transformation. When you do the sorting, it is not a database server is involved. It puts the data in a cache and sorts the data internally by Informatica process. So what we do is we'll put before aggregator transformation, we'll put the sorter transformation, because aggregator will not do sorting. We have to ensure that the data coming into the aggregator transformation should be in a order by fashion. So I'll do the sorting and the order by fashion using the sorter transformation. Source tables are, Venkat, the answer to the question is source tables are indexed or sorted. Source tables are not sorted anytime. Source tables are indexed only. Source, when you have to sort means you have to do order by. Source tables are not sorted anywhere. You can index it to query the data. Here indexing is done in aggregator transformation by itself based on the group by ports. When you put the data into the cache, aggregator transformation will do the index. When they are putting the data into the cache, it will do index. Based on what ports it should index? Based on the group by ports. On these ports, it will create the index. Indexing is done. Index is different from order by. Index is different from order by. Index is like your textbook last pages. Now I'll create the mapping for you. Same mapping. Same source, same target. So I'll create a mapping. M_11_. This is a performance tuning of TGT of using aggregator transformation of TGT sales using sorter. So SRC sales, transformation create expression. Then you use sorter. Syntax for sorter is SOR. Syntax for sorter is SOR. So item description, quantity, price. So source qualifier expression, same map, same source, same targets will do. So in a sorted transformation, you sort it on item description, month, year, and state. These are called key ports. On which column you want to sort it, you can select multiple columns, multiple ports. On which column you want to sort it, you specify that. Those are called key ports, ascending or descending. Ascending or descending. It has a memory space allocated to it at runtime. You can do distinct also. If you have same combination records, you want to skip one, you can do distinct, but in this case we don't do it because aggregator we need same combination records only. You want to treat null values top or bottom, low or high, you can specify it. This is what is the importance of sorter. Sorter can do distinct also. Then transformation, create aggregator. Group by. sum of quantity into price. Then I'll drag my target table. I sorted it. Item description, month, year, state. Then I calculated total quantity and total revenue. And save my work. So source is the same combination. We already imported for SRC sales and target previous mapping. I'll create the session for this. Meanwhile, please write it down. I'll be back in a minute. Please write it down. The session information. Please wait. Yasin. Let me complete the explanation. Sorter is sorting using cache to sort the data. Aggregator is scanning the cache to identify the records. But it will mark it, then it will do sum of quantity into price. This sorter will only do the order by. To get you the data in a order by fashion, it will scan and do the order by and sends the records out. That's my answer to your question. Sorter just sorts, does the order by and do it. Aggregator is not sorting, it is scanning the cache, identifies the records, then it will do aggregate function, sum of quantity into price. Sorter will just do the sorting and send it across. Are you with me? Aggregator will sort it, same combination record it will check, then do sorting and all, aggregating and all. Here, sorter will do is sort the data, send the report data out. So, create the mapping. I'll create the session for this. Source connection. Target connection. Change bulk to normal. And save it. So when you execute this, what happens in Informatica? Now, look at the mapping expression. You sorted on sorted keys, aggregated, total sales. So when you execute it, data comes into the row by row Informatica process. So row by row, data goes into the sorter cache. Sorter needs the cache, so it will put the data into the cache, row by row into the sorter transformation. Then, after it puts the data into the sorted cache, sorted data, then it will sorts this data and puts it into the aggregator cache, one record at a time. Imagine like this. Let's say you are in a flower market. They put you bunch of flowers, 10 combination of flowers to you in a basket and puts you there. Now you have 10 garlands you have to make with 10 different flowers. You put it in 10 bunches, all in one bag, you sort it. You sort one after another and do it. That will take more time. If somebody takes that basket with 10 different flowers, puts different combinations in 10 small baskets, if you want to tie the flower garland, it will be faster. Please imagine it. One basket having all 10 combination flowers, you have to make 10 garlands. So you have to pick from there. Same flower you have to pick. It may be in the last or it may be in the front, we don't know. So you will be picking up. It will take more time. Rather than if I keep one person and ask him to sort the flowers into 10 baskets separately and give it to you. So tying of the garlands 10 will be faster. Both do the sorting only, if you look at it. But if separately you sort it, it will be faster. Did it make sense? I don't know. Just imagine. Like that you sort this before. Now from sorter, based on the order by clause of item description, month, year and state, the data will go into the sorter into the aggregated transformation in an order by fashion. It will be faster. So it has put all the data into the aggregator cache. Now what Informatica will do is, now it will scan the cache. Based on your group by ports, first record it will scan, then checks the next record, not the same combination. So it will stop the scanning. It will stop the scanning here itself. It will not go down, sends the output, goes to the next unmarked record, marks all the one after another same combination. Because it is an order by, so it will mark the records and send it the result. Then it will go to the next unmarked record, checks for the next combination, shed February, next is shed January, so difference in combination. So it will stop the scan and sends that record out. Then it will mark the next unmarked records, same combination, then it will send the data out into the target table. This way it will reduce the scanning. Now, so aggregator transformation, if you want to do performance tuning on aggregator transformation, data should come into the aggregator transformation. Please observe this. Data should come in aggregator transformation, order by, based on group by ports. Then it will reduce the scanning of the cache. Aggregator transformation will not do order by. You have to ensure data coming into the aggregator transformation is based on order by, based on the group by ports. How will you ensure it? Using a sorted transformation. But how does the aggregator will know that the data is coming in order by based on the group by ports? It should know. If it does not know, then it will scan the whole cache. It should know that the data in the aggregator is in a order by fashion. To ensure that aggregator transformation knows that data coming into the aggregator transformation in order by fashion, you enable a property in aggregator transformation, which they call it as sorted input. They call it as sorted input. After you ensure that using a sorter, data comes into the aggregator cache in a sorted by fashion, but aggregator should know. If aggregator doesn't know that the data is coming in order by fashion, then it will scan the whole cache. So you have to enable this. This is called a sorted input. If you check, please read this very carefully. If checked, input to the transformation is assumed to be already sorted based on the group by ports. It's already sorted. It will not sort. How it is already sorted? You ensure it by using sorted transformation. So, save the work. Now execute it. Now my question for you all is, if the data is not sorted, if the data is not sorted, let's assume like this. If you have a data in the aggregator cache not in a sorted fashion, but you have enabled sorted input, what will happen? It will give you incorrect data. How? Assume that you have enabled the sorted input, but you haven't ensured data coming into the aggregator transformation in order by fashion. What will happen? It will scan shared January 2005 AP, shared January 2005 AP, then there is a change, shared to PANT. So it will stop the scan here itself. Because it is sorted input enabled, it is assumed the data is coming in order by fashion based on the group by ports. So it will stop here and send you out the output as shared January 2005 AP, sum of quantity into price. So first two records 10 and 20, 30, and combination 10,000 plus 40,000, 50,000. So it will give the output as 30 and 50,000. Goes to the next unmarked record, PANT January 2005 Tamil Nadu. Goes to the next record, combination is different. I'm telling you, when you enable the property of sorted input in aggregated transformation, but you haven't ensured the data is coming into the cache, into the aggregator in order by fashion. If you haven't ensured it, then what happens? That is what my discussion point. So PANT January 2005 AP, it will mark it. So it has marked this. The next unmarked record, it has marked, goes to here, change in the combination. So it will send out this record as PANT January 2005 AP. Sorry, PANT January 5, 2005 Tamil Nadu, and sends out 30 and 30,000. Then, because sorted input is enabled, so there is a change in the combination, then it will stop the scanning. Then this will mark January 2005 AP, then PANT January. So it will stop the scan here itself for this combination and sends the output as shared January 2005 AP, $20 and 20,000. You observe the data. Data is incorrect. This combination and this combination, both are the same. It should be as a one record. It cannot be two records of the same combination as the output of the aggregated transformation. So if you enable sorted input in your aggregated transformation and you haven't ensured the data coming into the cache, coming into aggregated transformation, by order by based on group by ports, you haven't ensured it, then it will give you incorrect data. Second, if you have ensured that the sorted data is coming into the aggregator, but you haven't enabled sorted input, then there is no change in the performance. Because if you don't say it, then it will scan the whole cache for every combination. Are you with me, please? Any questions on this, please? What do you ask him? Clear? So when I execute this, I can't see the performance of this because there are only 9 records. Failed. Because I changed it, I have to refresh it. I changed the sorted input. That's what I think, but still let me check it up. Source, target connection. Some partitioning key required. Let me check it up and get back to you. Actually, I don't need that. We are running this from last batch also, but let me go back and check it up what is the problem is. But this is how it works in Informatica. This is where Informatica works. Any questions on this, please? Before I call it a day for today. Sita. Yeah. That I will take it up tomorrow, madam. Tomorrow in the first session. As soon as we come, we will do that in tomorrow's class. Database will take more time. Because in a database, it has to put it in temporary files. When you use it in the database, it will take into the temporary files. So it will take longer time. That's what is the explanation for it. Basically, if you look at the sorter, let me show you the sorter explanation. That's what it will suggest. But maybe tomorrow I'll look into it. Use a sorter in Informatica. If you have to take into consideration the volume of data and how many keys on which you are sorting, basically what happens in databases, when you want to try to sort it, why they don't want it is the indexing is not done on that order by fields which you are doing it, basically, practically. Because that source index is done for source systems. Now you are doing order by yourself. So you have to change those columns to make efficient order by. So here, while putting the data itself, it knows on which columns it has to order by. So internal mechanism of sorted transformation will be faster than the database. That is one main thing. And in sorting, order by is a bottleneck at the database level because it will put all this. Let's say there are 1 million records. It will put all that in a temporary file in a database level. Then it will do the sorting. So generally, in Informatica, suggestion is if you want to sort the data, better use sorted transformation. It will give you better performance. And this sorter came in. No. The sorter came in from version 6. Before that, it was not there. The sorter was not there at all. So, if there is a cache consideration in Informatica level, like the number of records it can sort, no, there is no limitation. Before, there used to be performance issues on this because there used to be sorter transformation, cache was being determined with a base value. All transformations, Informatica started allocating a base memory space. And if you need more data at the server level, you have to increase the size. That was before version 8. Now what they did was, it is automatic. Automatic when you are doing it is, it will allocate the memory space based on the data internally by integration server. So it has its own mechanism to allocate the memory space. Before they used to have limitation. Limitation means base was there. Did it make sense, Yasin? No. From version 7, no. Version 8, no. From version 8, they changed the whole way of doing it. Before they used to allocate memory space, but now for every transfer, you open your Informatica this thing, you can see there. What you can see is for every transformation, the cache is auto now. For all of you, it is not only explanation for Yasim, for others also. You see this. This is auto. For everything. From version 8, we have observed this. They have auto. Before they used to have some numbers there. Byte sizes were there. So more memory management is done by Informatica by itself. That's what is happening now. What, in ab initio there is a limitation or something like that? Yeah, there also it used to be 7. You can change it. There used to be separate manuals for calculating the cache by the administrators. But now they removed that. Now they are managing it because it is a better performance for them. Yeah. Why it is better performance for them? Because there are hundreds of mappings which are working, executed. So if they give pre-allocated spaces for all these transformations, at runtime, even if that space is not required, but that memory is allocated to the transformations. So their memory allocation is giving a challenge. So they have taken that responsibility at the server level to, based on the sessions running and the data, they can, on-site, they can allocate memory space. That is what they internally do it. But I don't have it